All right, we got anime support. Metalmorph is an archetype now, apparently. Let me take a look at that. I have not seen or read these cards before, but we've got Red Eyes Black Full Metal Dragon, which looks pretty cool. Level 8 Dark Machine, 3400 attack, cannot be normal summoned or set, must be special summoned with enhanced Metalmorph, activated by tributing a level 5 or higher dragon monster. Okay, enhanced Metalmorph is not something that I'm familiar with. Is that something that's... I probably should read that first if that's a new card. It's a trap card. Okay. You can only activate one card with this card's name per turn. Activate this card by tributing one face-up monster. Special summon one monster that cannot be normal summoned or set and mentions enhanced Metalmorph from your hand deck or graveyard. Then you can equip this card to it as an equip card with this effect. The equip monster gains 400. Your opponent cannot target it with monsters and spell effects. Also, it cannot be destroyed by monster and spell effects. Okay. This already seems rather gimmicky to me. This gives me assault mode activate vibes. But okay. So if you tribute a level 5 or higher dragon for this, you can summon out this guy. You can reveal this card in your hand, set a Metalmorph trap directly from your deck, and if you do, shuffle this card into the deck. Okay, that's neat. If you draw this, which I presume you don't want to draw this because you want to summon it from your deck with enhanced Metalmorph, you can basically you can do like an Illusion of Chaos swap, right? Illusion of Chaos to search Magician Souls. This is kind of the same thing. This is, in general, this is very good design for cards that are meant to be in your deck, but they are kind of bricks, right? This is pretty good. Give them an ability that puts them back into the deck. They should do this more often. When your opponent activates a card or effect, you can negate the activation. Then you can inflict damage to them equal to the original attack of one of their attack position monsters. Okay, simple. This is just an Omni negate, right? It doesn't destroy the card. It does not destroy the card, but it does give you an Omni negate that is accessible with the trap card. You still have to tribute a level 5 or higher dragon monster, and you have to run a trap card in your deck to do it, which don't know if that's worth it, but we'll see. Okay. We have Metal Devil Zoa. Metal Zoa X. Level 8 Dark Machine, special summon effect monster, cannot be normal summoned or set, must be special summoned with enhanced Metalmorph by tributing a level 5 or higher fiend monster. Okay, so you get different options depending on which one you enhance. And it has the same first effect as the other one. That's cool. Up to twice per turn, when your opponent activates a spell or effect or a monster effect, you can target a card, face-up monster they control, destroy it. Okay. Alright, I get it. And then we have Fiend Beast Zoa. You can only use the second and third effect of this card's name each once per turn. If your opponent controls a monster, you can normal summon this card without tributing. If this card is in your hand, you can special summon it in defense position. Then, if you do not have enhanced Metalmorph in your grave, your opponent can special summon one monster from their hand. During your main phase, you can set a Metalmorph trap directly from your deck. Okay, so you can take the risk going first of just special summoning this and then get the trap card, but you will give your opponent the chance to basically extend for free. At the same time, though, if your opponent summons something out of their hand on your turn 1, you can just get rid of it with some other cards, right? Right? You just like special summon it. Your opponent summons something from their hand. You like SP banish it later. But yeah, I don't know. It shouldn't be a normal summon, I feel like, going second. Is that just me? It feels like this could have easily been a special summon when you go second, but okay. And then we have Metal Copycat. How do you guys feel about these retrains on older cards? I personally like them. I think it's cool. I think it's cool flavor to give us new versions of old cards. I'm a fan of retrains. I like it. Level 1 Light Spellcaster. You can only use the first and third effect once per turn. If this card is normal or special summoned, you can add a Metalmorph trap directly from your deck. Oh, set a Metalmorph trap directly from your deck. Then, if you have enhanced Metalmorph in your graveyard, you can draw a card. This card's level is increased by 4 during your opponent's turn only. You can declare one monster type. This card becomes that type until the end of your opponent's turn. Okay, this card is supposed to be what holds it all together, right? You can make it a level 5 so that it counts as a level 5 for both of these guys. You can make it Fiend or Dragon, whichever one you want to go into. And then it also adds you the trap card on normal summon, and it can even go +1 if you already have an enhanced Metalmorph in the graveyard. This card is solid for what it does, right? Just a demo. Thank you for the 22. Metal Copycat is full Fiendsmith combo. What? Just because it's a light fiend? I mean, there's a lot of light fiends, but yes, probably. Approaching Machine. Normal spell card. You can only use the second effect once per turn. Add a monster that mentions enhanced Metalmorph or Metalmorph trap from your deck to your hand. If you control a Metalmorph trap, you can banish this card from your grave, then target an opponent's defense monster, change it to attack. Wait, the second effect is once per turn? Why is the second one the one that's once per turn? Okay. So a non-once per turn Rhoda with a very, very small bonus in the graveyard. Negligible. The second part can almost be ignored. Sometimes it's gonna matter, but like, not really. But I mean, that's also really good. That holds it all together even more. You got a non-once per turn Rhoda. Okay, we've already read this guy. And then we have Time Engine. Well, people already play Time Engines all the time. Anyways, normal trap card. This card is always treated as a Metalmorph card. If a monster you control is destroyed by battle or an opponent's card effect, target one of them, special summon it. Then, if it's a level 5 or higher machine monster and you have another Metalmorph trap on your field or graveyard, you can destroy as many monsters your opponent controls as possible. Then you can inflict damage to them equal to the summoned monster's original attack. This seems too situational. Because your opponent needs to destroy one of your things. And that's the only effect it has. That is the only effect that it has. So I don't know if it is. It's also funny that it does damage because it's literally a time engine. I feel like in recent months, whenever I've read an anime archetype, I've had the same feeling. Which I don't know exactly what that means. But whenever I read like anime archetypes these days, at the same time, I feel like they are better than what I expected. But they are still, this doesn't seem good enough from like a competitive standpoint, but it's still like better than what you would expect from anime archetypes, right? Ignoring Yugioh. Yugioh is an outlier. But I'm comparing this to like Shining Sarcophagus stuff, for example, right? Like the Shining Sarcophagus stuff, while not like super competitively viable, is like better than what you would expect from an anime support, right? Like it's like playable, right? It even topped a regional, right? And you guys are mentioning stuff like Melodious or DDD. Like I don't that's not what I mean when I say anime like retro legacy support. I mean like way back in the day, like the really OG stuff. Like with Shining Sarcophagus, we're talking like Yugi Muto support stuff, right? And this is also like really OG stuff here. And it's better, like, I mean, it does something. Chimera is also pretty good. Yeah, that's true. So yes, there are better anime archetypes than this, or retrains in recent times, but still like it doesn't feel terrible. But it's not gonna be like a tier 1 deck unless they get more cards, but it's fine design wise. It looks cool as well, so I'm okay with these. Is the copycat ashable because of the draw? Yes. That is ashable. And I'm pretty sure with this one, it's ashable always, even if you don't have the enhanced Metalmorph in your graveyard. Because it checks at resolution whether it would draw a card or not, right? For example, Nightmare Phoenix, you can only ash it if it's co-linked, because for Nightmare Phoenix, it says if it was co-linked at activation. So at activation, you already know it's going to draw a card or it won't draw a card. This one, I think, theoretically can always draw a card, so you can ash it. Because you could do, like, theoretically activate effect, chain Morella to send the trap, and then you have a Metalmorph, and then you can draw a card in resolution. But, yeah. It's the yeah, it's like you can always ash Thrust, right? Like, even if you don't have a monster, your opponent activates Thrust, you can still ash it, because if you get a monster in resolution, they could still add. So, yeah. Yeah, those are these. And then we have another legacy support with Earthbound Immortal, which is potentially really interesting, although it's just one card and I haven't read it yet. But Earthbound Immortal already are kind of close to being solid, so let's see. Earthbound God Scar Red Nova, Immortal Red Nova, level 12 Dark Fiend, 3,500. You can only use the second effect once per turn. There can only be one Earthbound Immortal on the field. During the main phase, quick effect, you can banish this card from hand or grave, send an Earthbound Immortal monster or Red Dragon Archfiend from hand or face-up field to the graveyard. Then you can apply one of these effects. Special summon an Earthbound monster from deck or extra deck. Special summon a Red Nova Dragon from your extra deck. Okay. This one is also better than I expected it to be, because I looked at it. I thought it was just going to be a level 12 Earthbound Immortal that wants to be summoned. Right? So that's the good news. They don't actually want you to play a level 12 that's a brick that you would have to summon. This one is not meant to be summoned. This one is meant to be banished alongside sending another card, and then you get to basically summon any Earthbound monster from deck or extra, or a special Red Nova Dragon if you want that. This isn't Earthbound Prisoner. Yeah, I forgot. What was the exact difference with that? What was the exact difference with Earthbound Prisoner and Earthbound Immortal? Because it does special every Earthbound monster. The Immortals suck ass. But it can summon the Earthbound prisoners from the deck. But you can't send Earthbound prisoners as cost for it, or like as part of the effect. Yeah, this doesn't seem great because of that. Right? Because in order to even use this effect, I have to either be able to summon Red Dragon Archfiend, or I have to have Earthbound Immortals in my hand. Well, yeah. We've got Union Pilot. Level 5 Machine Union. Keep in mind, we already have seen some more Union support recently with the new XYZ Dragon Cannon stuff. They got support. You can only use the second effect of this card's name once per turn. Once per turn, you can either... Okay, they have the standard equip, unequip effect, and then you can return this equip card to the hand. Equip a banished Union monster to an appropriate monster you control as if it were equipped by that Union monster's effect, and if you do, special summon this card from your hand. Ooh, that's potentially really good for follow-up. But doesn't seem like a great combo piece to begin with, right? But like, if you have a good target that's already banished, it's basically, isn't this just like the kind of the equivalent to Union Driver? But from banished? Reverse Driver, yeah. Look, I'm gonna be honest with you. This card seems solid to me, but I haven't played a deck like that in ages. And I also haven't played against a deck like that in ages. I don't even know what kind of like how that ABC XYZ deck is going to be played with the new support. I guess we'll have to wait and see if this card has a spot in there. Presumably not, because from banished is usually something that would start mattering later on in the game, and that's not what ABC decks are built for most of the time. But the card itself isn't bad, I feel like. Not insane either, but... and then we have Dream Absorber, level 2 Water Fairy. You can only use the first effect of this card's name once per turn. If your opponent activates a monster effect in the hand, graveyard, or banishment, you can special summon this card from your graveyard or hand, but destroy it during the end phase. Ooh, hand trap? Each time your opponent activates a monster effect, this card gains 1,000 attack. Immediate... Oh. This card does nothing. Right, extender? I mean, yeah, okay. But this card is just not good, is it? Okay, let me at least try to understand the idea. Let me at least try to understand the idea of this card, right? Because going second, you don't want to summon this on your opponent's turn. That was my first instinct when I saw the first effect, right? I was like, okay, I can summon this on my opponent's turn, and then it does something, but obviously it doesn't do anything. So what you can do on your turn is, let's say, hypothetically, you start playing into your opponent's board, right? Your opponent activates, I don't know, Ash Blossom on your first card that you activate, right? And then you special summon this from your hand. And then it just, as your opponent keeps disrupting you and doing stuff on your turn, it just keeps getting bigger and bigger. And so eventually you can like attack them for game. This is not, still not great. But it's a level 2 extender from the graveyard. Like theoretically, if it's in your graveyard, it's going to come back. And then you can like exceed with it in like a sprite deck. It's still not great. Still not great. Another... Have I read this one before? No, that was the other fusion. The Chorozo. Protostar Dragon of the Interstellar Void. Level 8 Light Dragon Fusion. Needs a light or dark dragon plus a dragon. Well, that seems very generic. For super poly purposes. You can only use the first and second effect once per turn. If this card is fusion summoned, you can target cards your opponent controls up to the number of your light and dark monsters used as its material, destroy them. Oh, it's really important that it says your. This is really important. If it didn't say that, it'd be crazy. It'd be insane. Imagine you play against Dragon Link. You go super poly away 2 of their things, and then destroy 2 of their cards. That'd be insane. But you can only do that if you use your own cards for it. Ironically enough, this can turn super poly. This can turn super poly into a pretty good disruption. Like, let's say you're playing Dragon Link, and you're playing super poly in your deck. But you're playing against an opponent where super poly doesn't do anything, right? So what I can do is I can super poly my own stuff away to pop like 2 monsters, right? Which is like, okay. Or cards, right? It's kind of like a mini Guardian Chimera if you're playing a dragon deck. Baron Picari, thank you for the 2 months. Appreciate you. If this card becomes banished, you can target a level 4 light or dark dragon you control. It becomes level 8. Yeah, that doesn't seem great. I understand this is probably meant to be support for that light and darkness dragon theme that you guys keep bringing up. I just don't think those cards are good. The new light and darkness dragons. The fusion monster is fine, but the other ones just aren't playable, I think. So I don't really look at it from that perspective. This is basically just a super poly target. And it's not a bad one at that. Not a bad one. Make a splash with... Okay. Purun. Alright. Level 2 Water Aqua. Oh, Mixed Toad. You can only use the effect of this card's name once per turn. If this card is in your hand, you can target a water monster in your main monster zone. Destroy that monster you control, and if you do, special summon this card to the zone it was in. Then you can destroy all opponents' face-up cards in this card's column. Okay. Skill drain out. Does this out skill drain? Yes, it's all one effect. Okay. Just summon it in the skill drain zone. Oh, I see. I was gonna summon it into the zone of freaking Kashtira Birth and expect it to out skill drain. Yeah, my bad, dude. Ah, okay, now I understand. All right, that was my problem. My problem was I didn't understand which zone to put it in. But now that you said that, that makes so much sense now. Yeah. Obviously, just some, yeah. Oh, dude, I feel dumb now. Do you think it's worth it? No, absolutely not. This is not a good card. And Exalting Morganite. There is Morganite support, everybody. There is Morganite support. Morganites are going to be a deck. They're a thing now. Trust. We got a red Morganite now. We're going to get all the colors. It's going to be insane. Paleos are going to be eating good. It's Morbin time. All that. Normal spell card. Apply these effects for the rest of the duel. You cannot activate monster effects in hand. Each of your monsters can attack up to 2 monsters during each battle phase. If your monsters battle an opponent's monster, any battle damage is doubled. You can banish this card from your grave, add a Morganite card from your deck to your hand, then place 1 card from your hand on the bottom of the deck. This card is ass. It does nothing. The only purpose for this card is to search the other Morganite if you, for some reason, want more copies of it. This is like that one meme of that little robot asking, what is my purpose? And the answer is, your purpose is to search the other Morganite. Literally. That is literally what it does. It does nothing else. The first effect is pretty irrelevant. And those, I think, are all the new cards that we haven't reacted to on stream yet. Isn't it better that 3 Morganite in Paleo, like, you mill it? No, the graveyard effect is, like, fine. The problem with it is that, like, it's a graveyard effect that searches Morganite without even going, like, plus with it. Right? Like, you have to, like, search and place back. But it's fine for that, right? But, like, yes, you can mill it to, like, access Morganite. That's cool. Right? Not super efficient to do that. But it's okay. Like, that is genuinely a purpose. But the problem is with that is that it's always completely tied to the this is only good if Morganite is really, really good, right? And most decks that play Morganite, at least from my perspective, whenever I've played a deck with Morganite, which was basically just Paleo, even in that deck, it wasn't like a given that I always wanted to play Morganite. I like tried without it and all that. It wasn't like a complete staple. I thought about playing less Morganites, all that kind of stuff. I never felt like, damn, I want to play like 6 copies of Morganite. And then, like, because this one is basically Morganite as a -2, right? Because what you can do if you draw these cards, if you draw this card, is you can activate it, apply the effects, then banish it from the graveyard to add the other Morganite and put a card back. And then you activate the other Morganite. At which point you have 3 cards left in hand if you do that turn 1. Morganite is active, but you have 3 cards in hand. So that's a pretty rough spot.